"You're not my real daughter," she whispered, the words barely escaping her lips, yet they sliced through me like a blade. We were standing in the living room, the one I had cleaned every weekend since I was 11. The scent of her perfume still lingered in the air, as if trying to soften the blow. I had just brought her tea. Her favorite, peppermint with a dash of honey.
She didn't look me in the eye.
She held the cup like it was foreign. "I never wanted to lie," she said. "But now that your father's gone, it's time you knew." My throat tightened. I couldn't speak. I couldn't cry. I just stood there, blinking too fast, willing the walls to stop spinning. In the silence that followed, she sat back down on the couch, calm as ever, as if she hadn't just crushed the foundation I had built my life on. All I could do was nod and walk out. I didn't even take my shoes. Growing up, I never questioned why I looked nothing like her. I had his eyes, his kindness, his way of laughing with his whole chest. But her? She was elegance in silence, emotions locked behind perfect posture and cold politeness.
Still, I tried.
God knows I tried. Every school project, I made sure she saw it first. Every birthday, I'd bake my own cake because I knew she wouldn't remember. I told myself it didn't matter, that her quietness was love in disguise. That maybe she just didn't know how to show it. I remember once, in 4th grade, I won a district-wide writing competition. They called my name over the intercom. I waited at the gate, excited to show her the certificate. She didn't come. That evening, when I told her about it, she glanced up from her phone and said, "That's nice, sweetie. Can you take the chicken out of the freezer?" And so it went. Birthdays she forgot, holidays I planned alone, and report cards I silently placed on the fridge like trophies no one asked for. The strange thing? I never resented her. I just wanted to be enough. Meanwhile, she doted on others. Her best friend's daughter got accepted to college. There was a dinner party. The neighbor's child had a recital. She baked cookies. But for me, everything was measured, transactional. A roof over my head, food on the table, and silence in place of affection. And still, I defended her. Whenever my friends asked why she never showed up at events, I'd say she was tired or busy. I gave her excuses like it was my job. I did everything right, I used to think. So, why doesn't it feel like I belong? Even after Dad passed, I stayed. I cooked for her. I handled the funeral arrangements. I picked up her medicines. Not because she asked, but because that's what daughters do. Or so I thought. "I never asked you to stay," she said, eyes cold, voice sharp like glass. "You could have left after your father died." Her words didn't cut me right away. They hovered in the air, waiting for my heart to fully hear them. I had just asked a simple question about the will. Not for money. Just clarity. Closure. She stood at the kitchen counter, stirring tea as if we were discussing the weather. I stood frozen by the sink, my hands still damp from the dishes I was doing for her. "You're not my real daughter," she whispered, almost like a confession or a relief. I didn't reply. I didn't even cry. I just nodded slowly, as if my soul had already known. 2 days later, a lawyer came by. Her lawyer. I wasn't even mentioned in the paperwork. Not once. Not even in passing. No belongings, no sentimental letters, no acknowledgments. Just absence. When I asked her why, calmly, gently, she waved a hand. "It's just easier this way. Legally. Don't make it emotional." Later, my cousin called, awkward and quiet. "She told people you were just staying until things got settled. That you weren't really family." That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by Dad's old chair and read his favorite book, tracing the underlined words he'd marked long ago. I didn't fight. But inside me, something shifted. The next morning, I didn't make breakfast. I didn't refill her medicine tray, didn't warm up her tea, didn't fold the laundry. I simply walked past her, silent, still, and stepped out for a long walk with no destination. When I came back, I didn't explain. I wasn't angry. I just stopped being available. Stopped running errands. Stopped sitting with her at night. Stopped replying to her half-hearted questions with polite smiles. I wasn't cruel. I was just absent. I deleted her number from my favorites list. I packed up my late father's things, carefully, lovingly, and sent them to storage. I canceled the monthly grocery subscription I used to pay for quietly. No announcement. I didn't write a goodbye letter. I didn't even cry anymore. For the first time, my silence wasn't fear. It was freedom. And the strange thing was, it didn't feel like punishment. It felt like peace. Like I had finally stepped out of a storm I thought I was meant to survive. It started with a Facebook message from someone I barely remembered, Ani Salma, a distant cousin of my dad's who had moved abroad years ago. I heard what happened, she wrote. I don't want to intrude, but I just want to say, I remember you. At first, I didn't know what she meant. But then the message continued. 15 years ago, when your dad brought you to that family wedding, I saw you take care of his medication schedule better than any adult there. You were only a teenager, but you looked after him with such quiet devotion. I never forgot that. I sat there, blinking at the screen, unsure how to respond. Then came another message, this time from my dad's old friend, Imran uncle. Your father used to brag about you all the time, said you were his anchor, that if anything ever happened to him, he trusted you'd carry his legacy with grace. He'd say, that girl? She's more mine than anything else in this world. No one from the household had ever said that to me. Not once. I didn't know they had noticed. I didn't think I had mattered that much. Then came a post from a local community page. One of the girls I had tutored for free years ago, now a grown woman, had written a tribute. I wouldn't have passed my exams without her. She gave her time, her kindness, her heart, without asking for anything back. She believed in me before I did. My heart cracked open in a new way. Someone saw me. Someone remembered. Someone told the truth. And suddenly, I wasn't invisible anymore. A week later, she called me, not to apologize, not to ask how I was doing, but to say, we need to talk privately. Things got out of hand. Out of hand? As if all the years of undermining, all the silence, all the cold shoulders, were just a little misunderstanding. I didn't mean what I said, she continued, her voice measured. You know I was upset. I stayed silent. Then came the real reason for the call. People are asking questions. Your father's friends are reaching out and, honestly, it just doesn't look good. Maybe we should sit together, take a family picture, post something nice. Clean slate. Ah, there it was. Not guilt. Not remorse. Just damage control. I could hear it in her voice, the panic masked as politeness. The image she was trying to protect. The same woman who told me I wasn't her real daughter now wanted me to smile for the camera so she wouldn't look bad. I almost laughed. But I didn't. I just said, I don't think that's necessary, and ended the call. She messaged once more that night. Can you ask your friend to take her post down? It's making things complicated. I didn't reply. Because now it wasn't about making peace with her. It was about finally making peace with myself. 3 days later, I got a voice note. Not from her. Not from anyone in my family. It was from Rafiq uncle, a quiet, elderly man who used to live down the street years ago. I hadn't seen him in over a decade. His voice was shaky but warm. I heard what happened, he said. I didn't know you were going through all that. But I wanted you to know something.
He paused.
You were just a teenager when you helped me carry my wife to the hospital that night. Remember? You stayed there the whole night. You even called the doctor when her pulse dropped. My sons weren't even in the country, but you were there. My throat tightened. I never got the chance to say thank you properly. My wife, she always said you were an angel. And she was right. I sat down, tears rising. But these weren't the same tears as before. These were different. You didn't just help us. You saved her life. And even though she's gone now, I want you to know that someone saw you. Someone remembered. He ended with, you're not who they said you were. You're more than that. You always were. I stared at the wall, the silence suddenly sacred. In that moment, all the rejection, all the gaslighting, all the years of not being enough, began to lose their weight. It wasn't about being accepted by the ones who kept wounding me. It was about being seen by the ones who mattered, the quiet hearts, The honest witnesses, the people who remembered the things I did when no one else was watching. That voice note didn't just validate me. It freed me. Because for the first time, I wasn't begging to be loved. I was simply being recognized. 2 weeks passed. Then came a knock at the door. It was my mother. She didn't look angry. She didn't look ashamed either. She looked composed. Like someone rehearsing for a role they weren't born to play. "I thought maybe we could talk," she said softly, eyes darting around like she was searching for the right version of me. Behind her stood Aaliyah, her favorite niece, the same one who once said I was too dramatic for expecting basic kindness. I didn't say anything. My silence made her fidget. "I know things got tense, but let's not dwell on the past. We're still family. And I know your father would have wanted us to stay close." She was using his name like a bridge, but I could see the planks were rotten. "I brought some of your things. Thought maybe we could go through them together." I looked at the bag she held. It wasn't love. It wasn't remorse. It was image management. Maybe someone had asked where I was. Maybe someone had started whispering. Still silent, I stepped outside, gently took the bag, and placed it on the ground beside me. Then I met her eyes and said the two most powerful words of my life. Not anymore. No yelling. No lecture.
Just calm.
She opened her mouth to respond, but I had already closed the door. Not in anger, but in peace. Not to hurt her, but to finally protect me. There was a time I would have given anything, my peace, my dignity, my silence, just to belong. But now I realize I was never asking to be loved. I was begging to be tolerated. And that's not the same. Love doesn't make you prove yourself over and over again. Love doesn't look you in the eye and say, "You're not my real daughter." Now I belong to myself. I know who I am, not because they finally accepted me, but because I stopped needing them to. If you're watching this and you've been told you're not enough, or you've spent years trying to earn a seat at someone else's table, let me say this. You are not unlovable. You are not replaceable. And you don't have to prove anything to anyone to be worthy of love. Sometimes, walking away isn't weakness. It's the loudest, most sacred kind of strength. And sometimes, reading the will out loud is the beginning of your freedom.